Hi friends, guess what just came in the mail? The remainder of the Celestial Odyssey collection from Pat McGrath Labs. I ordered these items on September 24th and much like everyone else underwent a major shipping delay. I'm just very happy they arrived. I'm in a tight time crunch. I gotta teach later, I gotta go here, gotta go there, but we're gonna get in this video, okay? But if it's your first time here, hi, I'm Alicia. Thank you so much for clicking on my video, and if you are returning, well, thank you for visiting me again. Kinky Sweat stands for my Kiki Hair and Sweat Life. I'm a fitness professional who loves things, all movement and beauty. If you want to check out what I do in between the makeup, so you can head over to my Instagram. If you want to check out my virtual class schedule or any other ongoings that might be happening, please sign up for my newsletter down below. I already have the Celestial Odyssey palette video up. I will link that card up above and down below. I also broke down the blush and glow highlighter trios in a separate video. In that video, I swatched all the highlighter shades in Pat McGrath Labs, but I said I will do it again when the Sublime Skin Highlighter from Celestial Odyssey would arrive. So we're going to take a look at, again, all the highlighters under the Pat McGrath Labs brand. I'm going to bring back Champagne Gold, Divine Highlighter, as well as the two quads, which the pans, they're smaller, fam. We're going to get as many comparisons as we can because, again, I just have like an hour. Who knows what we'll get through, but I know we were all dying to see the quad shades, if they were the same, should we even bother? I'm quickly pulling up the website so we could get the product details down first, then we'll go into the highlighter swatches, then we'll go into the quad swatches as well as those details. All the timestamps will be down below, so if you just want to go straight to the quad swatches, press those blue numbers. Up first, we have the Skin Fetish Sublime Skin Highlighter. This is the first time we received a quad in the mirrored gold. The only other time we received mirrored gold was, of course, last year's highlighter with the round packaging, but the Mothership Decadence re-release, not only in the Star Wars collaboration, but in another release afterwards, we got a whole as Mothership in the mirrored gold packaging. So I'm happy that we have a gold quad for the holiday. The highlighter retails for $60. We're looking at an expiration shelf life of 18 months. We get 8.5 grams of product or 0.29 ounces. And this highlighter is made in Italy. Capture light and project illumination with a heavenly highlighter that delivers a resplendent range of otherworldly effects. Creamy to the touch, yet silky soft in application. This is gel to powder. Ooh, opalescent sheen. Let's open it. Let's open it. Oh my god. Look at the embossing. I'm going to hold it as still as I can. If you want to capture a screenshot, I can't even blame you. I know I have to swatch this. This is utterly, devastatingly gorgeous. Just look at the details on that. And I had explained in my Celestial Odyssey palette video that usually with holiday releases, Mother relies on the crown jewel theme of things, which now more than ever appropriate because she is a dom. Okay, again, if you want to skip over to the comparison swatches, I'll have those in a bit, but let's go into these quads because I want to see, okay, if these cost less than the ones from last year. We have the Celestial Odyssey Luxe Quads. They come in the black lacquer packaging. I have to take the lid sticker off, but we'll do that in a bit. Both retail for $54 and they come in their respective boxes. We have a red in the pink box. The red is also the color for the big Celestial Odyssey palette. Suggested shelf life of 12 months, made in USA and of US and imported ingredients like the Celestial Odyssey palette 18 pan. Total net weight 4.4 grams of product or 0.15 ounces of product. We have Bronze Borealis and Deep Space Divinity, and if you look at the size of the shadow pans, they're smaller. For instance, if you were to check out Interstellar Icon from last year's release, check out how big these pans are versus the one from this year. Now, last year we did not get the special shades like the previous year. Let me pull out Nocturnal Nirvana. These palettes had either all Blitz or Astral shades, as you can see here. just how the palette is designed. It has the gel to powder texture, usually used for that type of formula. Also to note, you have the hieroglyphic logo embedded in last year's palette and previously year's palette. But here we only have the Pat McGrath Labs font that's found also on the Divine Blush singles. Again, this year's quads retail for $54. Last year was $58. $4 more because technically you are getting 0.9 grams less per pan than you are last year. Last year's quad, you get 2 grams per pan, and because this year it weighs in at 4.4 grams, that means that each pan is 1.1 grams. Perhaps the brand's intention was to give a little bit of luxe in the packaging, but save the actual shades for the mothership palettes, because I'm not sure how well the Astral Holiday Quads did in 2019. That will influence the brand to not release those shades again in quad form for the holidays. Maybe this is less intimidating. There's not as much product. People feel like this is enough for them. You know what? I'm sure you'll let me know down below. Let's get into these comparison highlighter shades. I gotta take my little halo off for this. Oh my goodness, I don't wanna ruin it, but here we go. This is the gel to powder formula that I adore in the Divine Rose Glow Highlighter. Here we have it. Oh my heavens. That is incredibly smooth and shiny. We're looking at more of a pink champagne finish. I still think warmer from last year's. Why don't we go down the line, hopping into the Skin Fetish Sublime Skin Highlighter from last year in Champagne Gold. This is not a gel to powder formula, it's more of a truer powder. You can still detect that lavender hue from last year's highlighter. I much prefer this year's. I think it's just all around a little more versatile in terms of the skin tones it can work with. Let's follow up. Let's go in. No, hold up, wait a minute. Again, included in the holiday collection, the Blush and Glow trios. I'm hopping into Amber Allure. Want to get Venus Nectar here on the arm. This is a powder formula, and you see more of a pinky tone. Golden Nectar, which is found in Galactic Sun, the other trio, but I have the single here, so let's swatch it next to that. This year's highlighter, a little more pink leaning, don't you think? And by the way, it's called Lunar Nude. I entirely just did not mention that in the details. Wow, Lacey, you're doing so well. And now my favorite highlighter, the Divine Rose Glow Highlighter. This is the same texture in Lunar Nude, that gel to powder finish, which I think is just more golden than Lunar Nude. You can even see in the reflection how it's a little more golden versus in Lunar Nude. A little more like, I don't want to say silverish, but definitely more champagne leaning. In with the original trio, I'm not holding this one up because unfortunately my little pans are broken, so they don't fall down. Iridescent Pink 003, Fine Gold 003, Bronze Nectar 003. Lastly, the Skin Fetish Highlighter and Balm Duo. First up, we have Nude, which I think will pair beautifully with Lunar Nude. Oh, absolutely. This is a cream finish. Not as like punchy as the powder highlighters as you see, but I think very appropriate for those who don't want all that shiny shine. Next up, we have Golden. I think will also be lovely under Lunar Nude. And lastly, Bronze, which again has a beautiful bronzy hue. So here are all the highlighters from Pat McGrath fam. We have Lunar Nude, Newest Edition, Champagne Gold, Venus Nectar, Golden Nectar, Divine Rose Glow, Iridescent Pink, Fine Gold, Bronze, oh for heaven's sake, Bronze Nectar, Nude Balm Highlighter Duo, Golden Highlighter Duo, and Bronze Highlighter Duo. Now the moment we've all been waiting for, let me pause so I can bring you in a little closer. That's enough. I have a couple of brushes here, but I think just suspecting from the texture, I'm using a slightly stiffer brush. This is my Bishoro Cherry Sokoho Goat Hair brush. Sokoho has a little more grip to it, So I thought it'll be an appropriate brush to use to pick up ample amount of product. We have a mirror, so bring this along if you need something to go. Here we go. Oh my gosh. Just as I suspected, the shine is incredible, given that this is the gel to powder texture, which I prefer over the powder, but I understand how the powder still has oils in it that lend that silky feel and that smooth blend. In terms of the color, it's looking a little icy, so I would actually apply this maybe on top of Golden Nectar or Venus Nectar, on top of Divine Rose Glow. And I think the gel to powder formula more forgiving on skin texture because it's simply just lighter in terms of the formulation. It lays down like a veil, but as you see, the shine is absolutely incredible. Now, I love the embossing. I love the mirrored gold compact. I still prefer Golden Nectar, Venus Nectar, or Divine Rose Glow on my skin tone, because I'm getting definitely like a beautiful highlight. But if you see me in person, you can detect that is a little, well, you know what? I think it all depends on what I wear with it. This definitely reflects like that highlight bang when light hits my skin, which is why I would say if I were to apply Divine Rose, and I'm only doing this because this is the other gel to powder texture, I'll apply it on this side. I don't know if you can recognize that this just has more of a golden hue to it. I know I have like a neutral skin tone, but I do like the warmer feel to it. So this is Lunar Nude from this year's holiday collection. This we have Divine Rose Glow. Therefore, ideally, I will take a smaller brush, go in with Lunar Nude, and just pop that right on the center. So that's really going to amplify the shine, just the overall bling factor of this highlight. Placing it here on the brow arch, why not? Nothing wrong with layering and mixing highlighters. That's how you will achieve the most multi-dimensional look when it comes to highlight and glow and brightness to the skin. Definitely prefer this over last year's for sure. In terms of the packaging, I think this is more practical than carrying this around. I mean, this is like a paperweight, okay? You could chuck this at someone and they'd be in trouble. You have to screw it on, screw it off. I know, first world problems. These are just observations I'm making, but I do think Lunar Nude for me is easier to use solo, not preferably, again, Divine Rose Glow or any of the Nectar shades, but I could layer this over those shades and they melt with each other well, which I feel Champagne Gold from last year, it might look a little too contrasting if I were to layer this over Divine Rose Glow or any of the Nectar highlighter shades. And you can still see my pores. Full disclaimer, I have a hairy face. I know I can shave it or do the little bladey things. Sure, if that were the case, it will probably appear smoother, but ultimately, no powder is going to eliminate texture unless you physically do so or physically alter the outermost layer of your skin. But given that I still have a lot of pores here on my cheekbone, I think again because of the hair, I think my skin still looks pretty smooth. And again, I do think the gel to powder formula, which people prefer over the powder one, is going to look more skin-like in finish versus the traditional powders. But, you know, don't sleep on these powders because even though they're not gel to powder, they're still very smooth. Very smooth on the skin. Beautifully shiny there also when you blend them on your cheekbones. All right, we did the highlighters. Let's move into these eyeshadows. I know we're dying to find out if the shades are the same, if they're similar. You know, let's get these shade names and descriptions out the way. Can you please load, for crying out loud? What is wrong with the internet? Up first, we have Bronze Borealis, Pearl Shimmer, Metallic Duochrome, Rich Matte, Strong Saturation, Creamy Texture. Use wet or dry. Oh, my bad. I said 1.1 grams. It says here 1.75 grams. I can't do math. It's fine. Which is still under the 2 gram mark. Limited edition, which I failed to mention. I probably put a note up when speaking about the highlighter, which I would suspect is limited edition as well. Velvet Matte, Sateen Shimmer, and 2 foiled metallics. Lunar Legend looks to be, oh, that's pretty. This color exists somewhere similarly in the Pat portfolio for sure, but if you don't have Pat anything, well, it's awfully pretty. Sienna Rose. Rose anything is just, oh, that's pretty. All over the lid. Mink Dusk. There is a mink something also in the Pat portfolio, but that's, I like that color. It's like a muted rose plum. And lastly, we have Cyber Bronze. We always gotta have, oh, whoa. The shine on that is crazy. Quickly going into last year's quads, Fleur Fantasia. There's nothing in there that resembles what's going on in Bronze Borealis. Interstellar Icon? Not really. With Interstellar Icon, maybe Golden Polaris might resemble Lunar Legend. And Risque Rose, Mink Noir. This is what I wanted to swatch. Mink Noir. I remember there was a mink something. This has definitely more depth of color. So if you have Risque Rose and your deeper skin tone and you don't think Mink, the names, Mink Dusk is going to work out and you have Risque Rose, then maybe stick with that. But I know this color curation is a little more bam shwam, whereas Bronze Borealis, more subdued. I would consider this to be like a slightly warmer Divine Rose 2 quad, just quickly making that analysis. Now we have Deep Space Divinity. Golden Aurora looks to be more red than what we have in Mink Dusk. Rose Nocturne. Interesting, it's called Rose. Is it because there's like a little bit of pink in there? I read it wrong. This is Rose Nocturne. This is Golden Aurora. Excuse me. It's backwards, I know. Get it together, Alicia. Alien Moon. Think this might be the duochrome. Ooh, we've seen this combination before. I know especially the indie lovers are like, I have that 10 times over and it's better. I get it. No one has any eyeshadow. If you wanted to go into Pat McGrath, that's a good. It's still on my finger. I got a lot on my finger still. Look how foiled that is. Woo! I mean, I can't get it off for crying out loud. And lastly, we have Dawn Fantasia, Fawn. And this looks to be like a coppery bronze type of a hue. With the exception of this shade, here are all the colors from the 2 Celestial Odyssey Luxe quads. I think they're called Luxe because of the packaging, but if you wanted an actual specialized shade from the Mothership portfolio, you will not find them here. However, I still think these metallics very smooth to the touch, very consistent with what exists in the Celestial Odyssey palette, which many of you had said from trying this in comparison to Celestial Divinity last year that the shades in Divinity got a little dry, or they were just drier from the get-go, whereas these have a little more slick to them. They swatch beautifully, and we'll see how they work on the eyes. And to quickly cover the standout comparisons, especially against Alien Moon and Interstellar Icon, thinking about, let's see here, Hypnotique. This is another duochrome shade, but this leans more blue. This is like, I feel it could be standalone, but I got a lot more pigment from that one. And we have Dark Star classic palette from Pat McGrath. What started the whole deep space Interstellar Icon theme of it all, we have the original Interstellar next to Hypnotique. And I think Alien Moon is different. It has the teal flip on that maroon base, but these two are exclusively like just the blue. But Interstellar, you can see it has that duochrome flip where it goes from like purple to blue, and Hypnotique is shinier than the original Interstellar from Deep Space, Dark Star. Star Deep, Interstellar, so many names I can't remember. Quickly going into the big Odyssey palette, Saturn Sunset compared to the Mink Lunar shade. I cannot for Mink Dusk. Mink Dusk. So we have Mink Dusk here, just cooler, more mauvier in feel than the one in the big Celestial Odyssey palette. Nocturne, which is the dark brown, definitely doesn't match up with here. It matches up kind of, well, Mink Noir from Interstellar Icon, you have a more depth of color than Nocturne. And any blue that exists in the big Odyssey palette, Nirvana, which is more teal, Citron Envy, more green, and Noir Moon is just more of like a midnight blue. This shade, I thought of Rose Venus, which is also a single as well as what exists in the big Celestial Odyssey palette, but this I feel is more like mauve plum, whereas Rose Venus is a truer pink rose hue. Galactic Glow, also from the big Odyssey palette, that has a little more coolness to it, whereas this one here from Bronze Borealis is more pink. This is more golden from Deep Space. And do you guys remember the original Deep Space shade? Again, in Dark Star, that beautiful blue-gray matte is Deep Space. Metropolis, Dark Matter, Entice. I forgot where I ranked this. I didn't rank these yet. I guess it should. I'm long overdue. I know for you. I think it's time that we get into these demos. Going into my Bobbi Brown Shadow Stick, which I really love for priming now because I just adore the ease of application. This is in the shade Vanilla. Bobbi Brown was very nice to send me all the shades, so I'm still going through all the hues to see which one is the appropriate shade for my priming purposes. Vanilla, I think, works. It's not too light, but it evens out my lids well because they are red and rainy. Mink Dusk first. Let's see. Oh, let me blend that out, shall I? I'm getting nice stick, which is the purpose of that primer, but I'm going to get a brush that has a little more density to it so I could move around these pigments. Oh, that's a shade. What was the shade? That was the shade. Hold on. The Divine Rose Luxe Quad. There's a shade in here called Earthly Delight. I don't think it has... Well, this looks lighter. Let's see. I'm going to do... Oh my god. Let me do this. Oh yeah, this is more mauve-y. That has a little more... Yeah, okay. Voyeuristic Vixen that released with the Divine Blush Collection. We have After Dusk. Mink Dusk. After Dusk. Let's see here. Oh, hold on. This is Mink Dusk and this is After Dusk. After Dusk has a little more brown in it, where Mink Dusk has just more of like that mauve hue to it. They're similar, fam. If I were to put these up against each other, if you have Voyeuristic Vixen, you have Rose Fire Nectar, which is an incredible topper shade. And you can create a similar look with this, I believe, even though I didn't complete this look yet, just judging from Mink Noir, which, while I understand if you want more of a Divine Rose feel, where Voyeuristic Vixen, I think a little warmer because of Rose Fire Nectar and the Dusk shade, After Dusk shade. Whereas Bronze Borealis, interesting that it's called that, is like more mauve-y. You know what I mean? Sienna Rose, just using my finger, placing that all over the lid. I think this might be the Satine shade. It doesn't have the same amount of sparkle like the other shades do, like the same amount of shine. Beautifully smooth though, and incredible opacity. Opacity? Which one is it? And this is like a classic one and done moment. You know how I love these types of shades. You don't have to rely on so many to create just a comprehensive look, and the undertone of Mink Dusk is superb. I like how it's not so cool, it's neutral, it's like a neutral mauve, and I dig that. You could also blend out Sienna Rose, just judging from the texture all over your lid and crease, and then go in with Mink Dusk afterwards to blur the edges. because although it doesn't have the same amount of shine as the other metallics in this quad, you can still blend it out successfully. Lunar Legend now on the inner corner, overlapping that with Sienna Rose, and I'm pulling it over and into both shades so we could get, you know, that nice overlap. I definitely picked up a little too much with my brush. I'm gonna kick off a little bit, it's all good. Let me go in with Cyber Bronze. Oh, Cyber Bronze would be killer too on the lid. If you didn't want to go all the way mauve with this, that's pretty. I like how this is going so far. Now with Deep Space, definitely want to go in with Alien Moon. And I want to apply that shade first. So let's place that all over the lid, because then I think we only have to use a bit of the matte shade to blur out the edges. Oh, I love that. This is an easy one and done look, and the fact that it has a maroon base, I feel makes it very appropriate to wear this standalone. You might see the blue and think, I don't know if I want to go that way because it's blue, and to place that all over the lid is a lot to commit to. Again, because of that red undertone, because of that red shift, you could wear this all over the lid. I dare you. And look how incredibly easy it was to get on lid and blend through the crease. I was able to shape that in no time. Taking my Rephr number 16 again and just lightly dipping in to that shade. I mean, a little goes a long way, as you see, to just blur the edges and create that lovely gradient from that red tone matte into the more blue shift in Alien Moon. Golden Aurora, definitely on the inner corner to add some brightness here. And now with Dawn Fantasia, I'm placing that on the entire lower lash line. This brush might be a little too soft, but I think we got enough. We think I got enough on there to showcase its glory. A little bit of Rose Nocturne on the outer part of my lower lash line here, so it could pull together. I'm just whipping the sides here. I did get some fallout from Alien Moon, as suspected, when dealing with metallic shades that you want to blend out through your crease instead of packing them on your lid. You do run the risk of experiencing fallout simply because of the technique you rely on to achieve that blend. Oh, these lashes are... put them on wonky because I'm running out of time to get ready to go into the city to teach, and this was the only hour I had. And shout out to UPS for delivering when they did, because if it was a half an hour later, I wouldn't have been able to get this up until like Friday. Today's Wednesday. Just get on some lipstick, Alicia. They want to see the final look. Here's the final look with the new Sublime Skin Highlighter in Lunar Nude and the new Luxe Quads from this year's holiday collection, Bronze, Borealis, and Deep Space. Let me know down below what you think. I wanted to get this video up quickly, not for you to buy it right away. It was more so to clear up any wondering, because upon seeing these quads the first time with the holiday release on Pat's Instagram, they very much look like what had already released last year and recently with Voyeuristic Vixen with the Divine Blush collection. I do get PR from her. This package, however, I bought myself. The only PR I think I will receive from this collection is the 18 pan palette as well as the 2 glow and blush trios. I bought the highlighter, I bought the quads, and now I also have an extra glow and blush trio, which I will include in a bigger giveaway. So there's time for people to see the video if you're in a different time zone, if you just don't have the time to watch my videos like right away when I upload, you know, because you do have a life. And then I'll put in some other goodies with that trio, because I have a bunch of Lisa Eldridge lipsticks I have to get rid of, even though she has a new drop coming soon. I was supposed to have sent those out a long time ago, but they're unused. sitting in the box. It's fine. As far as comparing to what we got last year, I think if you already have Interstellar Icon, I think you need to be better about your organization. I think if you have last year's palette in comparison to now this year's Deep Space one, I would say is a little more punchy because you have the classic Blue Blood from Decadence as well as Divine Dahlia, which I love on its own. So I think you have more single shade moments in here, where this is definitely a palette that works all together to either amplify Alien Moon or just to have more subdued looks with the two champagne and gold shades in here. Happy that she included a matte that's not neutral because we already have those brown shades in the big Celestial Odyssey palette. As far as Bronze Borealis, I rather enjoy this curation. Anything rosy in hue, I'm all for. And compared to Voyeuristic Vixen, which I put this up against earlier, you will have Rosefire Nectar, which is going to give you more shine, a little more pizzazz to your eye look, whereas Bronze Borealis is a little more low-key. It has the satina metallic shades in here, but Sienna Rose is wonderful to rely on for single daily smoke looks. And the hue of Mink Dusk I think is perfect. It's not too cool but not too warm either. It's a perfect in between Earthly Delight and After Dusk, between those two shades from the Luxe Divine Rose quad and the Voyeuristic Vixen quad. So there are my quick comparisons, and I wish I could do more looks for you, fam, but I wanted to get my first impressions down. Definitely wanted to do the comparison highlighter swatches again, get as many quad comparisons in this video as I could. Let me know if you need anything else. I will be at Bay's house. I'm not going to bring all these with me because I'll be back home on Friday. But knowing me, I probably will, because if you ask me about a swatch and I don't have the quads, I will feel very guilty. So maybe I'll just bring a few. I don't know. You'll let me know in the comments, but I'll get to you or answer as many as quickly as possible. I have a shoot tomorrow. Hopefully I'll be done at a reasonable time so I can tackle any comments if I happen to upload this video tonight, which is going to be a slim chance, but if anything, it'll be up very late. So I would just wait for the morning so you can get some rest at this time. Who knows what's happening by the time I upload this video. Anyway, fam, thank you so much for your patience and support. I'm sorry this feels rushed, but again, wanted to get as much information and swatches out as possible. Let me know what you think down below. I would wait for any of these makeup products. I know they're limited edition, but as we saw last year, a lot of the limited edition items were still in stock, I think, well after the holidays, and I think some even went on sale, if I'm not mistaken. We'll see what happens this year. I believe the Sephora VIB sale is happening in November, but I do think the Pat McGrath sales are much better because they're for everyone, right? With Sephora, you have to meet a certain purchase threshold to be eligible for the 20%, so whatever. Pat, if you meet a certain threshold with your total, you can be eligible for the 25% off that total price. And I know the holiday stuff just came out, so I'm not sure if that will be included in the sale if Pat were to have another one for the holidays. We can only hope and cross our fingers. But that's it. I will see you down in the comments, fam, and until then, that is a wrap. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope this video helped, and if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and maybe consider subscribing to my channel. And until then, I will see you in here again with another review tutorial, Pat McGrath Labs Luxe Comparison Swatch Extravaganza, monthly favorites or vlog. Take care, and I will see you again soon.